Tottenham till I die, Spurs diehards. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Spurs diehards. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die, Spurs diehards. Tottenham till I die.
Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to the regular Tuesday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID. Tonight we've got a few things to discuss. Some exciting news in the transfer window, obviously. Then there's obviously we'll talk about the protest and do a bit of a preview on West Ham. So without further ado, I don't do long intros. We'll get straight into it. I know Si's only got an hour. He's got to get up and work early. And I know Phil King, who's in Frankfurt, he's an hour in front of us anyway. So we've got a regular friend of the show. I regularly meet at football in Kev Clark. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, Adrian. Got a bit wet today going up into town, but apart from that, yeah, all okay.
And Si making his debut on our show. We've met on other shows. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Adrian. Thanks for having me. I'm just hoping I had a few issues with my internet today, but hopefully I might have sorted them out, I think. So, but looking forward to discussing what's going on at our club at the moment.
And Phil's in Frankfurt, who's an hour in front of us, I think. How's things out there? What's the weather like in Frankfurt, Phil?
Got a lot milder today, luckily, because it was like -8 or something the last few days with like, frozen, how do you say, black ice everywhere. So it was a bit tricky to get around, but it's warmed up today. And was watching the Bundesliga earlier on because they're having like an English week this week, as they call it. So they got midweek games, which doesn't happen very often. And Frankfurt lost to Stuttgart, actually. And it was a bit of an Angelo Stiller masterclass, who we've been linked with quite a bit as well. So I'm definitely up for us signing him. But yeah, look, thanks for the invite. And it's always good to be on. And yeah, I'm feeling better than a couple of days ago, to be honest, about Spurs. The transfers obviously help. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're going to start with that, like the transfer news. Si, we'll talk about the first guy first, Gallagher. Are you a fan of Gallagher? Looks like he's had his medical today. We haven't had the video things up. I'll put them up when they come up. Looks like that'll all be done this evening, and we'll get video links of him holding the shirt tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm quite excited with the signing of Gallagher, to be fair. Very industrious player, great engine. I liked him when he was on loan at Crystal Palace before he settled in properly at Chelsea. And I mean, the money we paid for him, let's be honest, for an England international as well. And English, you usually have to pay extra for English players. So I think we've done, pretty well and gazumped Villa with him as well. It looked like he was going to Villa at one stage. So, yeah, it's an exciting signing. A player who I think will be a regular, even when all the other midfielders are fit as well.
We'll have enough midfielders when they're all fit. It'll be about 10 or 11. Phil, what's your take on Gallagher? Are you a fan? Is he a sexier and inspiring signing for you? Or?
Well, I'm delighted with the signing, to be honest. I mean, of course, he's not an Adam Wharton, level of signing, right? He's not on that kind of level, right? But he's exactly what we need in terms of, energy, in terms of, desire in terms of leadership, in terms of just like providing something a bit different in midfield, like he buzzes around the pitch with that energy, right, to get stuff done, and he's captained, he was Poch's captain, wasn't he, when he was at Chelsea that season, like over 30 games, in Europe as well. So, I think that he's exactly what we need in our team. And look, I know he's not the progressive ball playing midfielder that we still need, who's going to kind of get on the ball and be a bit of a quarterback for us, with spraying passes and, kind of making things happen. But he can do elements of that, and he's quite versatile. He played as a number 10 when he was on loan at Palace, and he scored like 8 goals there and got a load of assists. He's a skills, like he's technically actually a really good player, and he's 25 years old. It's 25 million pounds upfront fee plus add-ons. What more do you want? Like for me, if I'm being honest, I think it's an absolute bargain. And I'm very pleased that we managed to make it happen, because look, even in a couple of years, if it doesn't work out in the end, or if we even get better players than Gallagher in 2-3 years, we can still sell him on and probably get our money back. So we've got like value there, and he's the kind of thing that in midfield we've been lacking completely: control, energy, leadership. Just a presence in there, and he's going to bring that.
Can I just interrupt there? Sorry, what Phil was saying. I didn't realise, to be fair, with Gallagher, how young he is. Actually, it feels like he's been around for quite a while, but he's only 25, if I'm right. So he's still got quite a few years left in him, and can only get better potentially as well.
Yeah, he's got a 5.5-year contract. The other half of this season, another 5 years. Kev, good price for an England international, surely, but is he what?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of sort of remarks from Spurs fans in social media, like, how many number 8s do we need, blah blah. And I thought, what's your take?
Well, there's a lot of chalk and cheese, isn't there? It seems about Gallagher coming in. Some people are loving him. Some people are saying, why are we bothering? I'm on the same sort of wavelength as Phil and Si here. I think it's we need, obviously with Bentancur now being out, we needed someone else to come in anyway. And it's amazing, really, how fast the club moved. I think that's the most amazing thing about this transfer. But price, I think the fact that he's an England international, but he's coming from a foreign team, I think that's kept the price down. If he had been coming from another English team, they probably would have put another 10-15 million quid on the price, wouldn't they? Because everyone knows, you need those homegrown players. But coming from abroad, I think they're getting what they paid for him, aren't they? Basically, with the add-ons and everything else like that. So it's a good deal for us, and we definitely needed someone. I see Dave, my namesake, Mr. Clark, in the chat has been saying, will he take us to the next level? Well, no, I don't think we bought him to take us to the next level. We bought him to fill the gap that we desperately need to fill at this moment in time, and to keep us ticking over. There will be someone else that will take us to the next level, hopefully.
My bias, actually, when we were first interested in him, I thought, no, you're Chelsea. Because I think I was like a lot of Spurs fans. Like, no, we don't. Chelsea's rejects. We took your managers. We don't want you. Right? Although we did take Payet and Gallas. It didn't do too bad for us. But, we did take, actually, Bobby Smith and Jimmy Robertson from them as well.
And Jimmy Greaves, obviously.
And Jimmy Greaves as well. Well, from Milan, wasn't he? We took him from Milan. Yeah. But, and when I looked at him then, I thought, I remember that 3-0 loss away to Crystal Palace. He was outstanding in that game. He ran the show, didn't he? And then after that, I thought, but it did sort of get my attention when Poch made him captain. I thought, well, he's got to have something like that, if that happens. And so I was posting videos of him recently of his time at Madrid and at Chelsea. And I started to look at the play and thought, you do drive us forward. You drive us forward like Bentancur did before he had his ACL injury, right? And I didn't realise, because when I see him in a few live games, I thought, oh, he can't finish it. But he did actually score a few goals, didn't he? I mean, and that surprised me. So now I've warmed to the signing, I've got to admit, not just because he's coming and getting excited. He's not sexy or inspiring David Clark. I get that. And he will steady the ship. Look, he's not an elite player, but he's the level below the elite players. You don't get if you're playing for your country, unless it's a very poor country, you're either elite or below elite level. And I just think he's just below that elite level. But he's 25. In the next 2 years, he could even kick on. So like, I am happy because what it does for us, basically, it gives the fan base a boost, those that are in favour of him. And I think the window doesn't close to the 2nd of February, believe it or not. So it's not exactly the end of January like I did initially think. And with like 20 days to go or whatever it is, I'm sort of thinking we're going to get another 2 in now. What I mean? That's what I'm thinking. So,
yeah.
We'll try.
I hope so.
So, Sai, mate, first time. Tell us everything you know about Sousa. You follow Brazilian football. Come on.
Well, I have actually. I know Tim Vickery, South American football expert, is quite clued up on him. Likes him a lot. Thinks he's got a lot of potential. He's also getting watched quite closely by Ancelotti for the left back position in the full Brazil squad. So there's definitely potential there with him. It's just whether or not he's going to adapt to the European game, compared to the South American game. It's going to take. I don't think he's going to hit the ground running straight away. It's going to take him time to settle, being a young lad as he does with most of them. But from what I've seen, the clips that I've seen, he looks good. He looks good, and we needed a left-footed left back because it drives me insane seeing Jed Spence on the left all the time and having to cut back onto his right foot. Yeah. And with Udoggy's injury concerns, for the amount we're paying for him, it's a good risk, I think. It's a good risk.
Yeah, that's the point, because the 2 we brought in, Phil, I mean, we haven't spent probably a third of our budget. If we got 100 mil investment and we had 70 mil left over from not getting Silvina in, and we got a percentage of the Johnson money coming in, we've got loads of money to make a big signing. But what do you know about Sousa? Anything? I did post videos to everyone, I think.
Yeah, I think I watched actually the video that you posted as well. So thanks for doing that. To be honest, I think it's probably the same as Sai, really, or probably anyone, right? I know Tim Vickery as well. I read his positive kind of review on Sousa, and actually Tim Vickery, he's not always the most positive kind of like guy, right? He doesn't rave about players that often, like, not really. So he was quite positive about Sousa, and look, I mean, he clearly said that he's in Ancelotti's sights, right, as potentially getting a call up to the Brazilian senior squad soon, and I've seen some other South American accounts, kind of legacy ones as well, compare him to like Marcelo, the old Real Madrid left back, who obviously won the lot, right, with them, and was that kind of very secure left back, but obviously great coming forward. Like he's obviously going to have to adjust. It's a different season there, isn't it? Their summer there, and it's our winter. It's probably going to take him a good time to adjust. Who knows? Maybe even ends up getting sent out on loan. We don't know yet what his level is going to be, right? When he arrives, they'll probably have to see that in training, but. Look, I mean, he's got the potential, and for that price, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Nowadays, what does 10 million quid get you nowadays? In the you can't even probably buy like one of the best League One players almost for that, really.
It gets my friendship.
Yeah. So like I'm really happy with that signing, you know, and we needed a left footer anyway, right? And look, the reality is, I think in January you can't get your your absolute number one kind of ready-made targets, you know, that are ready to slot in straight away and hit the ground running. And it's probably also similar. You know, I know apparently we're trying to still get Adam Wharton. You know, we're going after players, but in January you can't guarantee anything, right? So Sousa, I think, fits a gap. You never know. He might be ready to play minutes this season already. Udogi's back though now, isn't he? So hopefully he can stay injury free. But look, for me, these are the kind of signings we need to keep making. You know, because you hear about all of these Brazilian players that get snapped up every now and again, and the reality is that, you know, every now and again, you know, you find that little gem, don't you, that develops into a bit of a legend. So yeah, I'm happy. You know, I'm happy. And just can I just say, Adrian, just on what you said at the end of your point, you know, the fact is we have got like, how many days have we got left? We've got like 20 days left.
February, you can go. One of you can Google it and see what time. It probably 11 o'clock at night is when they do it, or unless it's one of them 5 o'clock deadlines, you know, midday deadlines or whatever.
So we got.
And is it a Monday? What date is the 2nd of February? Is it a Monday? Because it might be because there's a weekend.
It's a Monday. Yeah,
that's why. Yeah. Then yeah, that's why it's the 2nd of February then, right? Because normally it would finish the end of January.
Yeah,
but because it's over the weekend, to get deals done over the weekend. So what's it? A Monday at 11 o'clock or Monday at 5 o'clock? Is it on there?
No, but I know it's a Monday.
Okay, that's fair.
We got plenty of time to get these deals done,
and it's a lovely springboard. Having 2 players in is a good springboard now, isn't it? Yeah.
Adrian, it closes at 7 p.m. on the 2nd of February.
Fair enough. So plenty of time to do shows and have a rent, yeah.
And we sold.
Yeah, Kev, I mean, I think you probably watched the video. I think I sent it to you as well. So what I haven't seen in a video, he looks great going forward. All right, everyone's final ball can be better. He can take a man. He's tenacious. He looks like he's got the physicality. He's 6 foot. Looks like he's got the physicality to hold his own. We don't know that, but it looks like it. But with defending, I always find in defenders' videos, they never show you him virtually defending set pieces or heading the ball. And nowhere in a video, I don't think, did I see him head the ball once, right?
That's not sexy enough for a video, is it? Don't be silly.
No, it's not. It's not, actually. What have you made of your short view of him?
Well, I unfortunately haven't been able to watch your video, Adrian. I must admit, and I know absolutely nothing about the young lad apart from what I've read in the various chats. And the fact that it's close season in the moment in Brazil, isn't it? So he won't be sort of ready to jump in. I think anyway. As
what he's done, because he loves Santos so much, he's left his 25%.
He's left his 25% with them. Yeah, I read that bit.
Yeah, his merchandising rights or whatever they do there, you know.
Merchandising rights.
Yeah. So, but you know, and rumours are that he's a bit injury prone, maybe, but that shouldn't worry us. Everyone we buy seems to be injury prone. But yeah, I mean, I like the name mainly because I play a sousaphone, so Sousa's one of my nicknames. So I quite like the name, and so that appeals to me. But yeah, I mean, we needed, as I said, we needed a left-sided, another left-footed left back to go with Udogi and Davis. Although Davis has played quite well, I think, when he's come in recently. But having a youngster who can do that, then that's all good. But yeah, whether or not we keep him or he goes out on loan, who knows? The way our club operates with throwing people out on loan at the moment. So
their season's ended, I think. So even if he has his medical Thursday, he's not even going to be fit enough to be on the bench, I don't think, for West Ham.
No.
If that was for a season and he was fit, you could probably see him on the bench. But we've got Davis, so who's playing well, as you said. We're going to move on to some transfer rumours, some are left field. I don't make these up for the 257 of you that are viewing us, which is fantastic, right? Big up to you all. And if you could give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button at the bottom right corner. We can't see that red button, but you can. That would really help the algorithm as well. So thank you all for your support. Right, these are Oscar Bob is sort of on the radar and gained gravitas mainly because there's nowhere Marmouche is going and Silvino's injured, and they're not, so. And they've got loads of cover. And now that Semenyu's got there, you've got Ryan Cherky, you've got Phil Foden. I mean, you've got Doku. I mean, I could see them letting Oscar Bob go. Si, would you take him?
Oscar Bob, out of the ones that Man City have got, if I was going to take one, I'd rather take Silvino.
Interesting. Now you've gone dead on us. Phil, you want to carry on with that? You're back. Yeah, you're back. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, Silvino I would have took, to be fair. But I think he's out until February. So Oscar Bob, I would take him, but what I want to see is a left winger that's going to get us off our seats and and excite us in the ground, a bit like a Kudus, really. And I honestly don't think Oscar Bob is that player, to be honest.
Okay. Phil, do you like Oscar Bob at all?
I like him. I mean, I would take him. I think he's got quite a high ceiling still as well. He can get a lot better. Once he plays more and more games. I don't know how young he is, but he must still be pretty young.
22.
Yeah,
I've got his facts in front of me.
Yeah. But yeah, look, he's injury prone, isn't he? Quite very injury prone, I think. I think he's good enough. I think he would be, if we ended up having him as our kind of winger signing, then he's definitely good enough for us, I would say, and he'd be good. But I think it's a risk. I think it's a risky signing, to be honest. There's probably other options out there.
Just on the injury crisis, because at least he's Premier League proven, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is proven. I mean, he's. Didn't he grow up in the UK or something, or didn't he move here when he was super young or something?
I don't know.
But he's proven. He's used to it. I mean, I don't even know what kind of fee you'd be talking for Oscar Bob realistically. If it's kind of like 40-50 million, then that seems a bit high to me, whereby you could kind of put another 15-20 on and get like a player above that who's kind of got an even higher ceiling. I'll take Savinho every day of the week over Oscar Bob if I had the choice.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think I agree with what Phil said there. I mean, yes, Bob could fill a hole. He's young, and he probably could progress on. But you really want someone. If we're going to buy someone for that left wing, we want someone who's on it really straight away. We haven't got to wait for. I mean, it looks like Semenya's banging in the goals for City at the moment. So perhaps another cheeky offer for an injured player. I don't know whether I would. Bob would do anything for me at the moment over and above what we've already got.
I'll stay with you on Lucas Paqueta because we all these rumours that he wants to go to Flamengo, he wants to leave West Ham and all that. But then we heard all the rumours about Conor Gallagher was going to Aston Villa and he wasn't coming to us and it was virtually a done deal. And now he's going to be a Spurs player. So haven't heard any quotes from Lucas Paqueta himself. So he may well go back to Flamengo. But
yeah,
I
think he's.
Now we've got Gallagher. I don't think we're going to be interested with full of midfielders.
Yeah, I think he probably is going back to Flamengo, isn't it? Well, we wouldn't hear anything about him this week anyway, would we? No. So that's one.
Well, I think
maybe.
Yeah,
we wouldn't hear anything about him coming to us this week.
No,
if he buggers off to Flamengo, then
but you'll hear a lot. Well, you'll hear a lot about him and a sort of tenuous connection to Spurs simply because every time we play a team in the league, we always get linked with one of their players. And as we've got West Ham coming up Saturday, this isn't going to go. This story is going to carry on in the media You know,
They're
just
still going on about Bowen as well, weren't they? So
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but they're not letting him go while they're in relegation problems, right? So I think we'll kill this. So I don't know if you know about Christos Tzolis or Said El Malala or Brahim Diaz at Madrid. I mean, there have been tenuous links with these. I mean, I've watched Tzolis. He's a solid, square, stocky winger. You know, who's effective. Didn't get me off my seat in the videos, but I think he can handle the Premier League. Have you seen him at all?
I haven't. No, I must admit,
Okay.
Adrian, I haven't seen Zolis. I've seen Brahim Diaz because he's is it Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know he was on loan. I think previously to might have been an Italian club. I think. And I watched him. I did like him. He looked really good.
Yeah.
I myself haven't heard anything regarding Brahim Diaz, but I would take him if he was available. But yeah, I mean, for that Zolis, I haven't actually seen him play. But if, like you say, Adrian, he's a stocky sort of left winger, you'd think he'd be able to hold his own in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Quite, but it just takes me back to
he's in good form. He's in good form for Morocco. I think he scored 5 in the AFCON, so I think he scored in every game he's played.
Oh, was he? Oh,
yeah.
Well, it might be one of those that I think a lot of the movement in the market at the moment, a lot of teams are possibly waiting for the AFCON to finish because I think he's at the semi-finals now.
Yeah, and this is the thing, you see, any players that we're linked with AFCON, get the other ones in first because you ain't not going to get much time to seal a deal with players at the AFCON, are you? No, not the ones coming home like Basuma, but I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, another player at AFCON, which I'm sure Phil knows a lot about, is Diamandi. But I mean, the money they're asking for him, I can't see us paying that.
I've got a separate banner for Diamandi. We'll talk about him later after we've done this. Phil, Brahim Diaz or Christos Tzolis? I don't know much about Said El Malala, actually. I just see a link today. I just thought these are left field guys for those you watching on these platforms. I mean, like, we don't make these stories up, okay?
Said El Malala is an interesting one because he's just been called up by the German national team. He plays for Cologne. And I think he's only just broken through like last season. I saw a bit of him last season. Literally 2 years ago, he was playing for like the second club in Cologne, which is like a 4th division local Cologne club, and they've kind of picked him up, and he's like hit the ground running, and now he's being lauded as, you know, again, kind of Germany's next biggest thing after Lennart Karl, you know, the guy who's kind of broken through Bayern this season. And look, I mean, you know, I've seen a bit more of him, and I've got a couple of mates who are Cologne fans, and they rave about him. You know, he's obviously a bit green. Was it, how do you say, green around the ears kind of thing? He's obviously not got a lot of experience, but he's a massive talent who, you know, they reckon he could play, like he could start in, you know, rough and tumble, you know, leagues and games. But, you know, I would love to sign him. You could probably get him for 30 million, I reckon. But he likes to play on the left. It's probably his best position. He could probably play almost as a 10 up front moving forward. If you wanted to kind of pivot him, I'd love us to go for him, but I don't know if there's other teams kind of in play for him. Bayern are probably sniffing around anyways. Dortmund, I think, have been linked with him as well. You know, he'd be a risk still as well, right? Because he is so young. But he's been called up by Germany, you know, so like knowing that we are going for the likes of Souzas and people like this still, you know, Archie Grays, you know, if we can somehow squeeze him into our kind of squad or into our strategy, whatever our strategy is.
To be honest, because of our situation, I mean, people saying, I've seen it, we get so-and-so, yeah, but we've got this, we've got that. Hang on. I don't mind a bloated squad to get us out of our current predicament, right?
Yeah.
Then worry about offloading the players in the summer or whatever, you know, because if we need to fix things now, Frank does, if he's got any chance of being a manager next season, I still think he's going to get the rest of the year. Yeah. Kev, do you know any of these players, or are you familiar with any of them?
Well, the only one I knew about was Brahim, and I saw a rumor earlier today that we've made a bid for him, 52 million quid.
Yeah, I saw.
Whatever. And so, you know, yeah, and like I say, he's knocking them in at the AFCON at the moment. So he's doing okay. So, you know, we always need a striker, don't we?
Yeah, right. I'm going to get on to two players now, one after each other. That I'll stay with you, Kev, because I like this guy. We're now gaining gravitas now that we've got Gallagher in, right? I mean, he plays for Monaco, left-footed. He can play across the middle on both wings, right? And he caused us no end of problems. How Monaco didn't beat us in that leg, I don't know. Only they know the answers to that. And now they're talking like 50 mil. But look, all right, he's probably a 35 to 40 mil player, right? But pay the 50 mil, Kev, yeah? Or what?
Well, I think so. I mean, yeah, I mean, he rips us apart, didn't he? And I know my son likes him as a player. So, you know, if he's up and he's available, we were meant to be in for him in the summer, weren't we? As well. So, you know, I think that would be that could be the sexy buy that everyone's looking for if we got that one.
Phil, you'd be happy with this?
Very happy. I know you've been like banging the Achilles drum for a while.
Me and Callum actually have been doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that, you know, being linked with him in the summer, and I looked at videos and did a bit of research, like in, you know, a few months back, and yeah, he destroyed us, didn't he, in that game? Like, I really like him. I like the fact that he's quite you know, you can utilize him.
He's versatile.
Exactly, that's the word I was looking for. He's very versatile. You can utilize him anywhere, kind of actually across the front line. You know, you can play left, right, centre. Maybe you could even play deeper if you needed him to. I'm not sure. But for me, if we can get him, and you know, the money that seems bandied around for him doesn't seem crazy amounts for me. You know, like I think there was something saying 55 million euros, and there was something else I saw for 37 million euros. I'll take him. Like, he improves us straight away. You know, he goes into that team and he improves us straight away, and that's what we need. That's it. Simple.
Sai, what do you make of Aklu? She's 23.
Yeah. Adrian, I agree with Phil and Kev. Yeah, 100%. I think it's a no-brainer. I would love him. I'm exactly the same as Phil. When I watched him against us and he destroyed us, and we were linked with him in the summer, I started watching more videos about him.
Whoops.
And yeah, I just thought he's the type of player, he's got tricks. He's not, for his age, he's full of confidence. He's not afraid to try these tricks during the game. You know, I think if we get him, I agree with what Kev said. It's a signing that I think will excite the fans. Where he will play, I mean, I don't know where his favourite position is. But, you know, he's a bit of a game changer from what I could see. If he wasn't starting and he come off the bench, it changed the game for you. So if we get him, Adrian, yeah, really exciting signing, I think.
Yeah. We'll see if we progress on that one, or whether the club think we're well stocked. Phil, you know all about this guy. Now, apparently, I've heard today that Leipzig would sell, but they're only going to sell for mega money. We're talking like, the rumours are like sort of 80, 85 mil, but he's 19 years of age, you know. But I still think if you went to them with 65, 70, I think you get this guy, do you or not? Or do you think they'd hold out for more?
I think they'd sell for maybe 70. Now, if you structure the deal where they get enough up front, I'm not talking about like 40 million up front, but like it's obviously going to be paid over X amount of years. But I think if you offer them enough as a down payment, I don't know, potentially throw a player in there if there's an opportunity to do that, then I think that they will sell now. Because the thing about Leipzig is they're continually buying players like that, and they've got their Red Bull kind of like franchise thing, haven't they? So they can pull like young talents from all of their Red Bull kind of entities, and Jurgen Klopp's there, isn't he? He's kind of involved in stuff there as well. But they're continually buying new Diamandes, or like I think they bought someone today who I'd seen linked with us. I can't remember his name now, but like he was only 6 million or something, like a young player. I can't remember.
Not the Nigerian winger, Suleiman, is it?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Where I got that from, I don't know. I'm too sad. I'll go and search too much stuff. Yeah.
You remember him more than me, or know him more than me, but yeah, it's definitely Suleiman. They bought him today. I think that's gone through. So, their scouting is fantastic.
Well, they can do that, can't they? Because if they do loads of sales at top money, which they've done, and if they go and throw 6 mil, 6 mil, 6 mil, 6 mil, sooner or later they're going to hit on a 6 mil that they're going to sell for 60 mil again.
It's the same as the they bought that Norwegian winger Nusa, Antonio Nusa, who we almost signed, and Brentford actually had a bid accepted, didn't they, when Frank was there, and then we stole in, didn't we? And then like there was an issue with the medical and all that kind of stuff, but they took a risk on him. They bought him for like 20 million in the end, and he's absolutely been smashing it there as well. He's probably worth 55, 60 as well alone now, so they're doing very good at that. With Yan Diamande, I'm not sure we're going to go out there and spend that much money on a talent, like on someone who is still kind of, let's say, a bit unproven. He's
19, isn't he? Are we going to break our transfer record on 19?
No.
It is a risk.
We'll go out and buy these players like we've done. Even Odebert, you could argue, was that kind of player, right? He was like 19 or something when we got him. Tell, 38, 40 million, 28 million. But for this guy, 19 years old, 80 million, I can't see it happening. And I don't know. I could see him going. I think there's enough other big teams in for him that probably Leipzig, I think in the end, will just hold out till the summer and hope that he has a good second half of the season, to be honest. Can't see it happening.
Kev, like the look at this player, don't see us breaking a transfer record on him, especially if you're talking about that sort of money. You could go for Rodrigo, you could go for Bram Diaz. I mean, there are other players out there who I think would be less of a risk because of the age factor. And he's coming
I think so. I think, it's a lot of money, isn't it, to spend on that type of person who might not be proven over in the Premier League. That's what everyone will be saying. Is he Premier League proven? And if you've got 90 odd million to spend, well, I'm sure you could, like you say, you could buy an established person who's going to come in and make a difference straight away.
Yeah.
Whether he would, I don't know enough about him to know whether he would. But if he's that young, anything could happen, couldn't it? You spend 90 million on him, youngster could suddenly be running into big injury problems, and like we've seen with quite a few others. So I think it would be a bit too much to spend on a young player like that.
Apparently, he's a Liverpool fan. He's a Liverpool fan.
Oh, was this the one that said, I want to play for Liverpool because my dad wants me to play at Anfield? Yeah. Did I see that somewhere? Right, okay.
That probably kills its side, doesn't it? Yeah, to be fair, Adrian, I think if I agree with Phil in a way that I don't think that move will materialise this month. I think Leipzig will hang on for the summer when all the other clubs are looking for players as well, and they could probably, if there's a few teams in for them, they'll be able to force the price up. And then if it is true, if Liverpool, I had seen links that Liverpool were looking at him as well, and if that was true, and with him saying about his dad as well, you'd think he's going to choose Liverpool over any of the other teams, really. But it is. I wouldn't. I mean, 90 million for a 19-year-old is sort of. That's a massive risk. It's a massive risk. It's not like Sousa is 15, 20 million. That's worth the risk. But 90 million, like you said, Adrian, with that amount of money, we could go and get a real good, star, a name, a big name to get all our fans right behind it for 90 million. So
you could go Nico Williams, Rodrigo. You could look at. We could start looking at elite players for that money.
Oh, yeah,
whether they come or not is another thing. But if you build with a Sousa and a Conor Gallagher, and then get another sort of name player that's recognised at the international level, then with a spring order free, you might then get an opportunity of getting an elite player in on top. The ice.
And then also, Adrian, I mean, if we're linked and if the things like these moves were to materialise in the summer, if we're not in Europe, we'd lose out then on some of these players as well, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We can. I mean, we've still got the attraction of Champions League football. I know we've got not a prayer in hell's chance of winning it, but it depends on a player's mentality if he's a winner. If he thinks, well, I want to play Champions League as well, But bringing Gallagher in, he's homegrown, so that helps.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I guess it's just a like for Brennan Johnson, though, isn't it? We lost him; he was homegrown, so we're no better off when we named our squad. To be honest.
Right, I'll stay with you. We'll move on to some of our youngsters. Tell Odebert, game time loan situation. Lots of rumours in the media. I mean, to me, we should be keeping both these players at the club. We need every man in the pumps as possible, don't we?
Yeah, 100%. Don't think you can afford to loan either of these two out. That second half, the first 20, 25 minutes of that second half against Villa with Tell, Odebert, Xavi, and that, all of a sudden they looked like they were clicking. They looked exciting. And I think Tell has really staked a claim over the past few games for that left wing position at the moment. I can't see. If one of them was to go on loan, you'd expect it's because we've got a signing lined up, a left winger to come straight in. I just can't see a loan happening, and I'd be happy for them to carry on like they're playing at the moment because they're doing really well.
Kev, even if we get a signing coming, we're short on the right-hand side as well, aren't we?
Well, yeah, at the moment with Kudos having gone down, but I think either of those two could play right as well, to be honest with you. I think Tell's benefiting from a run in the side now all of a sudden. Whether or not, there's rumours that say he still wants to play centre forward. Well, there's an opening there at the moment as well, maybe, isn't there? But I think the problem, the Tell Champions League problem will be the one. I mean, and that could be, when we get to the 5th of Feb, when we got to name our squad for if we're in the knockouts, that's going to be sort of crunch time, isn't it? Yeah, and by then it's too late for them to go out on loan if they're not in the squad for those games. So,
well,
one of the reasons why you're getting a lot of things from Tell.
Yeah, Odebert's in danger of losing the ECL squad if we bring players in, because Tell was left out, but we didn't know Slanky was going to get injured. Slanky's homegrown if he's back, so that's good. But Odebert could be under threat now that if we bring a foreign player in. We haven't been linked to too many domestic players, and as we know,
Adrian, just regarding what you were saying about Solanke there, now he's getting close to fitness, and can he play in the last two Champions League games or not?
there's a rule about 60 days,
60 days, isn't there?
from when he was declared being unfit, I think, before he can come back. So I don't know when the 60-day period started. I've got absolutely no idea. I'm sure that will become clear in the next few weeks when
we've only got 2 games, haven't we? We've got Dortmund on the 20th, and then we got Frankfurt on the 28th, I think. So that'll be then, and then, like as Kev said, by the 5th of February, I think we are only allowed to add 3 more players to that squad.
3 more, and we know the 3 that are already going out because Johnson's gone anyway.
Yeah.
Bentancur won't be in the squad, will he? And one Zoom's Kudos won't be in the squad. So that's your 3 out already.
You might even be Odebert, or you don't know the extent of Odebert's quad injury or abductor injury.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So yeah, Phil. I mean, they've impressed, haven't they? As Moani has. I mean, like, I just think they're just, although they're developing, I think keep these another season. I think both of these players are going to be ready. I think they're going to be ready. I mean, I know it's a risk when you play and when games don't go away and fans get toxic about it. I get that, but I think these 2 players are too good. I mean, Odebert was at PSG Academy before he went to Burnley, and when Vincent Kompany was manager at Burnley, he was raving about Odebert, and you can see there's a player in him. And although Telly shone, his star shone brighter recently, in training they reckon Odebert's the most skillful player at the club, Maddison the second, and that he goes past players for fun in training. But you also got to think, well, do I want to smash him because he's took the piss when you're another player or you've taken it easy on him? But both of them, tell you what they've both got. I wonder, actually, when they say Odebert can play in a 10, you know, Scholes had quick feet. These 2 have got quick feet, haven't they? They've got ever so quick feet. And I think they could play through the middle as well. But
they did in the second half, kind of, didn't they, against Villa? When we came out.
All over the place, wasn't he?
You know, whether that was planned, you know, by the coaching team, or whether it was the players just kind of going out there and taking a handbrake off and just saying, "Come on, let's just go and do it." Whatever, it doesn't really matter either way. But like the fact is that they both did play through the centre and they looked a bit freer. And I mean, it was a good finish by Odebert. You know, like. When was the last time we scored a goal like that, even, right? With a little through ball and then a confident finish into the bottom corner. Like, it was ages ago. Like, Odebert, you know, I don't want to put him on I don't want to mention him in the same breath as like Semenyo, right? Because it's just silly, not really. But like there is a player in there, obviously, and he's been highly rated his whole career. He can actually use both feet, kind of, as well, right? Not ideally, but he can use both feet. You know, we'd be silly to do, you know, to make a decision on him that could impact him maybe leaving the club, because he's been quite good this season when he's got a chance, and I think again he needs to run a games, which he can kind of get at the moment. So yeah, we need to like invest in him until. I mean, like he played 60 games for Bayern. You know, 60. I think like half of those were sub appearances, but he still started 30 odd games for Bayern. You know, and that as like an 18-year-old, right? And I think he was recently made the captain of the French under-21s. So they obviously see leadership kind of, you know, skill.
Oh, the Spurs fan base, they love him. They want him to have more game time. I think they would get very toxic if he went out on loan. I don't see it happening, though.
It won't happen. There was links with Paris FC, you know, today, who, you know, who he actually played for as a youth. I didn't know that, but I just noticed that he played for them when he was like 12, 13. But look, whenever he played the season, Tells looked dangerous, and I was really quite annoyed and upset, really, that he didn't get more of a look in under Frank, let's say over the last 2-3 months, because there was a game where he looked so dangerous when he came on, maybe even scored or he set up a goal. I can't remember, but then he scored
on the left, didn't he, recently? Right.
Yeah.
And away to Leeds when we won, he scored on the right. and he had a really
deflecting
good game. He was playing as a striker against Leeds, so and he did all right. He did all right, you know. So
He's one of the few that will take the shot from outside the area, the curling shot. I mean, he's had quite a few that have just sort of gone over the bar and you know, or just gone wide, and so you know, he's starting to get his range, I think. And I like him as a player when he's playing well, and you know, and both of these players will go past players on the wing, you know. And
Kev, Odebert reminds me a bit, although I think he's got quicker feet, probably more skillful. He reminds me a bit of Aaron Lennon.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Aaron Lennon there. Yeah, I mean, Lennon was a one-off almost, wasn't he, with his size and everything else as well. But yeah, a little bit.
I think he's technically better though, and he's got quicker feet. but that's just it. Yeah, so let's move on to this guy, Phil. Will Lancashire scored 7 goals for Oxford in the FA Cup win against MK Dons. There's been a lot of interest. The clubs want to take this guy, but he's like when the under 21s. I watched all their games, and I'm sure that Callum did and Gary Wall did on Project Spurs. Get over there, guys. If you haven't, get over there and subscribe to them. They're a great channel. Closest thing to Harry Kane, which is a big up comparison, really. It's natural goal scorer. Scored against Galatasaray, but then he got sent off, so he blotted his.
I think Will Lancashire, he's a natural goal scorer, but he's got something about him as well. You know, he's clearly technically quite strong. You know, he's fast. He's proven that when he's gone. I mean, look, he's scored his 7th goal now, and as it says there, right? And that's at quite a good level. He hasn't looked out of place when he's come on for us. You know, as you said, like in the, you know, in Turkey, you know, he got the goal. He's built quite, you know, he's kind of quite. He's a bit stocky, almost a bit, you know, but like still mobile. I really like him, and I hope that we can properly integrate him in some shape or form, because we've had so many strikers, haven't we, that we haven't been able to do that with. You know, obviously Scarlett now, Dane. You know, he's still in the team, and in the squad now, but like he's getting a couple of minutes here and there. But we've never been able to kind of get him really sorted. Obviously, the Irish lad Troy Parrott. You know, he was so highly rated, and you know, and then in the end we got a good fee for it, to be fair, you know. And
yeah, he's banging him in for Alkmaar, I think it is.
He is, and he scored for Ireland, didn't he, for the Republic? Like they got, obviously, he got a hat trick, didn't he? Like, but to be fair though, even, you know, like there were some fans then calling for someone like Parrott to come back, but with respect to Troy Parrott, I don't think he's going to be the top, you know, top 6 Premier League kind of level. But look, with Will Lancashire, I think that, you know, I think there's a player in there as well. I think that he could make it at Premier League level. I honestly believe that. But the question is, how do we kind of prepare that route for him? You know, because it's difficult, isn't it? Like, unless if you've got like a young player coming through who's like such a big talent, you know, that you can't ignore him, kind of thing. And like the Kane situation was a bit different, wasn't it? It was a bit random what happened with Kane in some ways. I don't think you can copy and paste what happened with Kane, but like, how do you guarantee, or how can you make sure that someone like Lancashire gets a chance, but gets a proper run when you're under pressure to kind of, you know, like play your big hitting strikers? You got Solankis. No doubt we'll probably go out and buy another striker in the next 18 months. I don't know. It's difficult, I think. Like,
well, he would be homegrown, as with Scarlett. I watched Dane as a 17-year-old, and he was the best player on the park by far. Now he's 20, 21, I think, Dane Scarlett. Natural goal scorer. Scored against, when Kane got his 4 goals in the last game against Shakhtar Donetsk, he done the spin and scored. And he also scored against, was it Elfsberg, when Michael Moore scored and Ajayi scored as well. I think Scarlett will be sold for a fee. I think Lancashire will be brought into the fold. I think he's like.
It's good
But
enough.
Scarlett's going to have a good career. I mean, he is. Every time he don't play the Spurs, he goes well. England, he scores a goal. You know what I mean? So, and like you say, when you get into that team, you've got to do something like those three kids in that European game, and they still didn't get into the squad. And there's no point having them if they're going to sit on the bench all season. You might as well loan them out because they're too good for the under-21s now. And that's why we got 8 of them out on loan.
Yeah.
You know, all the ones that ain't injured, like George Abbott and that. This guy, I mean, I love this guy. Kev, Mikey Moore impresses for Glasgow Rangers.
He's come into it. He's come into it now, hasn't he? He had a sticky start up there. Obviously scoring against Celtic, which must have impressed Mr. Meth. As sort of, you know, brought him attention to him again from everyone. You know, and he's one that you've got to expect is going to make it in. And if we bring him back next season, is that already made left winger again? You know, he's impressed. You know, in the few games he played for us, he's impressed. You know, you thought perhaps he was a bit lightweight, but he's definitely put on weight whilst he's been at Rangers. He's much stockier now looking than the sort of flyweight he looked when he was with us. So I think he's
got that low centre of gravity, isn't he?
Yeah, he's certainly built up his you know, his stature there. You know, one other thing that sort of amazes me is that we don't really give our youngsters that sort of chance, do we? Like we said, in the game they all came on again in the Europa, and they all scored at the end, and you know, there were some great goals scored there. But then you see these other teams playing their 15-year-olds, or that other team playing their 15-year-olds and their 17-year-olds and their 18-year-olds in the cup. You know what? We don't seem to do that. You know, and blood the youngsters. You know, even United always blood a youngster, don't they? And coming in, we just don't seem to do that.
Kev, I think the issue at the moment is we need to win like every game, and we have the past few years. And
even when we were winning, we never did it though.
That's why they can't risk bringing the youngsters in. Like when Harry Kane come through, and what, you know, we started playing them in the Europa League, didn't we? And that's how they started to get their breakthrough. Whereas I just think with the way our club is at the moment, no manager would risk doing that even in the Europa League at the moment, because, you know, a few bad results and everyone's on their backs, and we want them out, sort of thing.
I mean, we do play young. I mean, obviously we're playing Bergvall, Gray, you know, who are, you know, still teenagers, aren't they? So we, you know, but it's not the ones that we've brought through our academy that are getting the breaks, is it? You know, so it's ones we're buying in for mega millions that are doing it. You know, and Sousa might be another one like that as well. You know, because he's young, we've paid quite a bit of money for him. You know, but you go on. You know, and we've got the Irish lad, haven't we, Amelia, as well.
I'm coming to him.
With his bad back, another injury. But there we go. But yeah, I think Mikey Moore is one. He's definitely one who's going to, you know, break through.
Yeah, I think he's got everything. I think he's got absolute everything. Can play anywhere in midfield and either wing, basically. I just think he is so good. I mean, it's surprising he's just barely 18, and you have to be 18. Even the guy I'm coming up to is only just 18. But you know, it seems ridiculous that you can't change with the men in the changing room until you're 18 years of age. I get it for all the paedophilia scares and things like that, but this just seems strange. You know, you're surrounded by comrades. What do you think is going to happen? You know what I mean? But you know, Phil, this guy, I love this guy ever since I was to see him kick a ball. Right? You all know about this in Germany. I think there was I don't know how they do the voting, but I think it went down to 2 players, Vaskovic and Kane, and Vaskovic got beaten.
Yeah, and he won not only that, but he won a second award as well last week for the best goal as well. Like that scissor kick that he did from the free kick or whatever. I mean, that guy is he's
generational talent.
Yeah. That's like the modern kind of phrase, isn't it, nowadays? Like he's a freak. Like the guy is he's a monster. Like he's such a physical presence, you know, and he's 17? Still?
18 in February. That's why we couldn't add him to the squad in January, because we wouldn't have anyway. But like, because he wasn't 18, you've got to be 18, and it's EU rules as well, European Union rules.
So he's been voted like player of the season, like in the Bundesliga, playing for for a promoted team.
Yeah,
you know, who are kind of at the bottom of the table, or, you know, losing more games than they're winning, let's say, right? So he's under pressure in a lot of the games. You know, it's not like he's just kind of able to stroll the ball out of the fence. You know, he's a physical specimen. I mean, he's massive. You know, he wins out. He's got the highest heading, you know, like stats, you know, like the 1 joules kind of thing, right? In the league. I think he even had that last season as well when he played. Where was he, in Belgium or somewhere like that? You know,
he was at Westerlo, wasn't he? With Ryan. Yeah,
he scored
the Polish side, and now he's gone to Germany. He's smashed in every league.
You know, and
he's 12 mil for him from Hajduk Split, about 12.5 mil. As a 16-year-old, Spurs paying that sort of money. That's got to tell you something about a player.
Like, he will be like, they just need to. You know, they need to look after him, right? And obviously hope he doesn't get, you know, any injuries or bad injuries, you know. But like, at the end of the day, like, there's no doubt if nothing crazy happens, he is gonna be a generational talent. He's gonna go down in history. You know, he's got the potential to kind of be Croatia's, you know, one of Croatia's best ever 3 players, probably, you know, along with Modric and, you know, maybe one of those other 90s. But like, he could be the best like centre back in Europe. Honestly, he's that good, and he scores goals, doesn't he? Like he always gets goals. He's always scoring goals, like not just the headers, but as you said, scissor kicks. He did like 2 flicks. I think he scored like a little flick goal, like, which was like a
backheel sort of thing, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. The only thing I'd say about him is that I do wonder what the club's going to do, like whether they allow him to go one more season out on loan, either again in the Bundesliga or somewhere else, or whether they actually promote him straight into the squad. And I think if they promote him straight into the squad in the summer, there's got to be the plan to play him or give him enough minutes, though, because at the moment he is only 18, and I think he needs minutes. I think he needs to play. In my opinion, if it was my decision, I wouldn't bring him actively into the squad next season. I would loan him out one more year.
Yeah, I would actually, but go on, Karen.
No, originally I was thinking, we'll bring him back and we'll play him. But if we don't sell Romero, you know, and we keep Romero, and we keep Van de Ven, then realistically, I don't think Vuskovic is still going to get enough game time, because Romero and Van de Ven are going to get.
Okay, let me throw this at you then, right? It's all 3 of you, because this is why I say yes. Is he better than Danso? Is he better than? We don't know about Dragosin. We haven't seen enough. Is he better than Danso?
I don't know. I haven't seen enough really of him playing full games to say whether he's better than Danso. Danso has his moments, but he's been solid for us. I think Dragosin probably be going anyway, won't he? You know, in some form or another, whether it's a loan or.
Well, we keep getting linked with centre backs. This makes me laugh when we got Vuskovic. To me, he's technically better than Danso. Danso doesn't need 2 touches on the ball. He needs a touch and a half usually when you see him. He's just that little bit clunky on the ball. I mean, he's a very good defender. I want to keep him. I just think Vuskovic's better, even at his age. Better.
I think he is better. I think he is better than Danso. Sorry, I think he is better than Danso. Also, in terms of the fact that he offers, as I said, that goal threat as well, and he's so strong in the air. You know, Vuskovic is one attribute which isn't his strength, is his pace. So he's not slow. He's not slow, but he's not like you know, he's not above averagely quick, let's say. But then I guess Romero isn't particularly
he's
fast.
not particularly quick either. But if you're playing next to Van der Ven, you know, that sort of
need to be quick,
everyone,
do you?
But yeah.
We brought Sol Campbell into the Spurs side as a young player, and he isn't technically as good as Vuskovic.
No.
But Vuskovic, technically, when I was watching him, clips I watched him, like he's like the best centre back I've seen at his age. I can't remember seeing anyone better. I didn't see Beckenbauer at 16, 17, 18, or Bobby Moore. I mean, I watched them play when they're older, but I mean, like, I just think he's that good that he keeps Danso on the bench.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate.
Yeah, you probably would. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but I do partly agree with what Phil says, that if we did keep Romero and Van der Ven, I think he'd be third choice next to Vuskovic.
But he would get Jones.
Potentially, like Phil said, maybe a loan to another Premier League club. Maybe, because there'll be a few teams wanting to loan him after what he's doing in the German league for definite.
Yeah.
So, and then you could see if he can hold his own in the Premier League, which I'm pretty sure he probably would. But I'd want him to come back, and I'd have him above Danso, definitely.
And just to quell fans' fears, because there's been a lot of rumours, and I do like to kill them when media like to unsettle our fan base. Vuskovic, I mean, he couldn't sign the contract even though we'd bought him until he was 18, right? So if I'm right, it's to 2030. It might be 2031. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a add-on clause to that either, because we did when we got Moani in. I was saying to Phil, Ian Meth actually, prior to this happening, the week we signed Moani, I said, I don't get it. We're signing players on 5 years, then they're running down their contract, and I've only got a 1 year contract extension for the club. Why don't they do 2 years? And what happened? That same week, Marnie was signed with a 2 year extension on the end of his contract. And I think if you're paying a lot of money for a player, this should be the norm now. This should be the norm. Because if he isn't any good, if he's good, you're going to do, you're going to activate the 1 year. So activate 2. If they're bad, you're going to let them go anyway. So what's the difference? The ball's in the club's court.
Adrian,
go on.
Just quickly on Vuskovic. I think I actually agree with. I've changed my mind actually. I think that maybe if we did bring him back, because when we signed Vuskovic, he was very clear that he was drawn by the opportunity as well to learn from the likes of Romero and Van der Ven. And if he's 18 now in February, if we bring him back, we can kind of bring him back and almost announce him as a new signing, which he practically is, isn't he? And we can kind of, we can bring him into the team. And look, if he doesn't end up impressing enough, or if he doesn't get enough games, we could still loan him out, right, somewhere, even after, right? Even though the transfer window is closed, I think we can still loan him, can't we? Maybe to bring him back and just pad that squad out, because we are going to sell Dragusin, I would imagine. And
that's a strange one, Dragusin. While we're on there, carry on with Dragusin, because he did well in the Euros. He come to us. It was mixed. He started well. Then he got sent off. Then he got caught out of position. So I questioned his positional play. Yeah. But he was quick. He was good in the air. I'm bound to assess his passing. It wasn't he hasn't got the long range that Romero's got. But he was good in the air and he was quick. And so I'm undecided. If we get rid of him, he might go and shine. He's one of those that probably come back to bite us and shine. I mean, I don't think.
Well, the rumour is he's going to Italy, isn't it? So, or back to Italy. So.
Well, that's his agent, Florentino. He don't shut up. He's playing for Real Madrid. He's going to do this and he's going to do that. I think wherever he goes, he'll be agitating for another move to get his cut each time he gets a percentage.
If we had to get rid of one of the 5, Danso, Dragusin, Vuskovic, Romero, or Van der Ven, because literally, I don't think you'd be able to keep all 5 happy. Which one would you get rid of?
Because I haven't seen enough of Dragusin.
Yeah, same here.
The fan base, they love. Look, you love. He's a solid, uncompromising defender. Forgot his name now already.
I mean, the thing with Dragosin is, and what probably puts some of the fan base against him is he has been, when he has played, he has been error prone, hasn't he, as well, as being solid. I mean, getting sent off, in that game and things like that. But I know, speak to a couple of Romanians, and they rave about him over there. So I don't know, but he just hasn't quite hit it, has he? And then with the injury as well, that hasn't helped. So maybe give him a better chance. But we've got Alfie Dorrington sitting in the wings as well, haven't we?
Ashley Phillips.
And Ashley Phillips. So there's a few knocking around, isn't there? Youngsters as well.
Right, let's move on to this guy who's just joined us. I don't know how much you lot know. I've watched his games for St. Pat's. Phil, have you watched this guy?
I've seen the compilations on him. I mean, like, to be honest, he looks the real deal.
He's got quick feet for a striker.
He's got amazingly quick feet. He's obviously built quite well, I think, for 18. He seems to be quite a big lad, but he's fast. His finishing looks absolutely fantastic. Like right in the corner, he gets the corner often, like from outside, just inside the box or outside the box. I mean, he looks the real deal. I'm actually really excited about him, and I do wonder, maybe it is then a shame potentially for the likes of Dane and Lancashire and all those guys, but I can see, based on what I've seen, and it is just compilations, which are always maybe not always the best, but I can see him being above those guys. I think this guy's got like proper talent. Like I think he could really be kind of a new Robbie Keane kind of level guy, if I'm just comparing it like that.
Yeah, wasn't he voted Young Player of the Year, Irish Young Player of the Year? Or
Probably.
Wasn't it?
We've since Dean Rastrick went and Paratici changed the whole structure of our academy a couple of years ago when we were doing poorly. Basically now we're buying players and we're paying them money, because we brought Oliver Post in from Leeds as well. I mean, but there's some very good young kids in the under 18s. If you're looking at Williams Barnett, he looks phenomenal to me. Yeah. And the winger we bought from South London, he ain't been well. He's straightening it virtually in first season, straightening. Tynan or Tynan, we call him. What's his last name? Thompson. Tynan Thompson. Yeah. When I see him play one game on the left, I thought, where did we get him from? You know what I mean? But they can flatter to deceive at youth. They can fall off, or they can progress. Yeah. So that's it. Right, we're going to move on to something that is the topic of discussion this week. The ENIC protest. For those of you out there, we've got 526 of you watching us on various, which is fantastic, and we really appreciate diehards coming over to us. Get over to Project Spurs as well, because we're aligned with them. We're very good friends with them. And Harry Scarf and Scarfy, get over there as well. So I think Billy T's organised this change for Tottenham. I've got a banner up here I'm going to add up here now. Now, can I make it bigger or not? I'm not sure. But basically, what it's saying is they're protesting not against the manager, not against the players, but against ENIC itself. So I'm all for them holding the club's feet to the fire, because ENIC to me have hid behind 20 odd years of a Levy, even though Levy was there. Getting Levy out, what has actually achieved or changed? Nothing yet. ENIC may appease us in this transfer window, and there may be a change of heart by some, but not obviously of the ardent protesters who want ENIC out no matter what. Look, I don't tell people what to do in Spurs diehards or any other Facebook group we run, or a WhatsApp group or an XCOM group. I leave it to individuals to make up their mind and do their own things. I do it with my opinions on football as well. I don't browbeat people and all that. So I'm just telling you, this is going to be Saturday opposite the corner pin, which is dead opposite the Spurs shop. So if you choose to go, that's down to you. I'm always meeting people at games, so I don't know I doubt I'll be going, because I'm always meeting people before the game. But I think they'll get a good turnout. and you know, in solidarity, I support them in the fact that like they're holding the board's feet to the fire. And after all, ENIC did say 100 million to spend, we're going to change this attitude, blah blah blah. So now they've started with Gallagher. So, but it isn't enough. So we see what happens. Now I'll go round. I'll remove the banner, and I'll go around the. Kev, what's your take on the protest and that? And it's funny how it seems to be that every time there's a protest, something comes up like a transfer, right? That sort of might like.
I mean, it was concentrating on Levy really last season when they were doing it. Obviously, them winning the trophy sort of quieted it down a bit, but I think the way we had, with the way the team's playing now, then there's a bit of discord, isn't there? Again, and also the Vinay, the chairman now, he was meant to be being very open and honest and telling us what's going on. Well, no one's telling us what's going on at all. They're deathly silence really from the board in terms of of what's happening, and even the trust have gone in hard on them as well. So it's one of those things. Whether or not it will make any difference whatsoever, well, that's the thing. It may not do that, because they won't have it. There won't be the force of people there. People won't not go into the stadium or walk out after 20 minutes or any other of those things that have been tried before. It just doesn't happen with a large 60,000 crowd, of which a lot of them are aren't tourists. So in that respect, so I can understand why it's happening. Whether or not I go along, I probably not. I'll probably be having a beer in the ground by then. But and people say, well, I'm the problem because I'm putting money in their pocket by having a beer. But it's one of those things. You some people get really riled up about it and will protest. I suspect if it had my son been able to be going, he probably would have. I imagine he would have joined in.
Fair enough.
Ian said he would have joined in if he's going. And if anyone wants to join in and go, I've got a spare ticket because my son isn't going. So I've got a spare ticket if anyone needs one.
Si, it seems strange that when they organise things, something comes up like a new sign-in, which might appease some of the not so much ardent protesters, doesn't it? So, good luck to Billy T and the protest group. I want someone to always hold their feet to the fire, to be honest, so as we get value for our money, which we haven't got, right? Yeah. So it's just like, to me, I just think that they would have been better off timing this after the transfer window had closed.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the results is a big thing with the protest, but I think they haven't, the first 13 days of this transfer window, they haven't really lived up to their promises that they were saying, spending all this money, and until, like you said yourself, until like the other day with Conor Gallagher coming through, there weren't even any links to any players really. So I think this has stemmed from all that, from apparent broken promises. But or I'm all for people's choices, what they want to do. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm a season ticket holder, but unfortunately I can't make the game Saturday. If I was, I probably wouldn't have joined the protest. But what I like is they're looking at holding someone accountable, which is ENIC. I think last year's protest was all more about focused on getting rid of Levy, potentially, than ENIC, which that happened. Is eventually gone. But it sort of went quiet then. And I think they were like waiting to see what ENIC 2.0, if you want, would actually do. And as I said, it looks at the moment not much different to previous season. So I can understand why they want to protest, but I do agree with you, Adrian. Maybe it would mean more if we at least gave them till the end of the January transfer window. Because for me, I've been looking so forward to this window because it's our first window without Daniel Levy, to be honest. So I'm hoping they will release a purse string. So me, myself, I'm not going to make a verdict on them until the end of the this window, to be honest. And then if I am a bit disgruntled with what they've done, then I may join the next protest myself.
Phil, what's your take on the protest?
I think it's good that some people try and hold the club or the ownership in some shape or form accountable, or at least show that there is elements of the fan base that aren't happy, generally with things. I think in this case, the timing doesn't really make sense. I think at the end of the day, people are annoyed and sad and, angry because of our league position and the fact that, we are obviously losing so many games, but also the way of playing, right? The fact that we're not playing, attacking football. I think that if we were 10th in the league at the moment, but we were playing attacking football, or you could see that we're trying to play attacking football and creating chances, even if we were conceding stupid goals still, I don't think there would be a protest right now based on the fact that Levy is gone. I think it would be better, or would have been better, to wait until beginning of February, see what happens in the Champions League games anyways, because that does impact on the rest of the season. And also see what happens in the transfer window, because the fact is the transfer window shuts at, as we said, on the 2nd of February, right? Wasn't it? So
7 o'clock. Yeah.
So like we've literally got 20 days left, practically, something like that, right? It's literally almost 3 weeks. So, there's plenty of time still to, for stuff to happen. And I have no doubt that we are trying to sign players in the background, and probably, I think that we are making it happen. We did the quick business with Johnson. So I think that would have been fairer, because the problem is that, ENIC is still there, but Vinay is new. He's the big boss. He's got to try and create a new structure, or build a new structure. It's probably not his fault directly that, Paratici's going, but then you could argue, was it the right decision to bring him back permanently? I say no. I don't know why we brought him back. That whole double sporting director thing doesn't make sense anyway, right? Because I think that anyways, moving forward, like probably, and even, I think I mentioned it before, but we need to hire a new sporting director. But for me, it's not just a talent book scout guy. It's like someone who's going to completely build or rebuild the footballing structure. There's a football person, so they understand how football works, and the manager has to be aligned with that person. And then you've got someone like Paratici, who's the director of talent or whatever it is, right? But I think that, look, again, Levy's gone now, and Joe Lewis's kids,
Vivian and Charlie, and Bolcher.
So like they have come out and said that that they believe in, they want to invest in the club. We've heard we've seen some leaked things, we've seen some official things saying we've got 150 million to spend, or something like this, and that's before sales, I guess, outgoings. So like the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? Like I said when Levy went, but when ENIC said we're not selling, I'll give them one season, to see what they do, to be realistic, because at the end of the day, I think it's pretty clear that Levy, he was a control freak, and he wanted to be involved in every single, part of the club, on an almost daily basis. And of course, he must have had his issues reporting upwards to Joe Lewis or to whoever he was reporting to officially, right? But Levy blocked so many things. He made so many bad decisions on the footballing side that I think they deserve 1 year to see if indeed things have changed on the investment front, because everyone knows that we need it. If it doesn't change, then do you know what? They can go out there and protest even more properly and try and actually mobilize proper numbers moving forward. And, you know, with the greatest of respect to change for Spurs, I've got respect for the fact that at least they're trying to do something.
Yeah.
I know that in the past, other people or individuals have tried things and it's been difficult to get a mobilized, you know, connected effort. But what I would say as well is that even in, like, I think it could still be done much better. You really want to go and like create some kind of proper anti-board movement. You know, you have to take more drastic actions than just trying to mobilize some people in front of, you know, wherever it is at the stadium. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's with no disrespect to anyone involved.
Kev, I do get the fans' angst. I mean, it's been a draining experience for us Spurs fans. I mean, we should be carrying a warm glow from that Europa Cup win into all through this season, and yet we bring a manager in. We don't know if he's the real deal. To me, he's not Spurs DNA, but I haven't seen enough of him, and I've got more patience as an older fan to give him to the end of the season anyway. But I don't make the decision. I can only express an opinion. But I get it. So I get the anger, and I get why that like Billy T and Change for Tottenham have gone for the protest now. Like, you know, I wish them well with the protest, because if they hold the bold's feet to the fire, just keep doing it. I'm all for that. I will keep posting that link I put up, that banner. I'll post it in the Facebook group, the WhatsApp group. I'll do it all week till the protest comes up, like, because it's good that they're there. I'm sure there's a lot of the fan base who are in solidarity with them. I mean, my only angst with, and I went to 2 protests when Brian Daigle was a bit more involved. I don't know if he's over here now, back in Canada or whatever. I did actually go to 2, but but like when I turned and I stopped going was when they turned and said the fans are the problem. And I was always brought up to support the club, support the manager, support all the players while they're at the football club. And when they're gone, I don't boo, don't get up. I don't even sing the hate songs, get up if you stand, hate Arsenal. I don't even do that. Or the Sol Campbell song, I don't do that. I'll chant Yid songs all day long. Proud to be a Yid, right? I'll do that, right? But the fans don't sign the players. They don't make boardroom decisions. You know, they don't employ the manager or the coaching staff. The problem with the protest at that time was the fact that, like, because they weren't getting the numbers they were going, they were like firing off in all directions anywhere they could. And I think if you attack the fan base, you've seen what happened with managers attack the fan base. When players go and confront the fans at games, it just doesn't. Well, if you think it works, I'm not going to tell Billy T what to do, his group to do at all. You know, I wish them well, but if you do that,
I think this one it seems to have got a lot more publicity and a lot more sort of
I'll keep doing
people
that.
reporting on it, and so I think it will probably get a lot more sort of exposure on Saturday than perhaps some of the others have. And exposure, I mean within the media as well as social media and whatever. So I think because it seems like it's taken on a bit more of a role here, and there's a better, you know, better coordination of how to do it. I mean, you know, as older ones, when we had Sugar and Venables arguing and all that sort of thing, and nearly having the club in bankruptcy and everything else back in the 90s, and it was, you know, it was bad enough then. It's, you know, is it as that bad now? Yeah, we haven't won any trophies apart from the UEFA Cup for a long time, and it is. You know, it is frustrating, you know, watching ENIC, but as I mentioned earlier, they do have at least seemed to act quickly in 2 things this season: selling Johnson quickly at the start of the window, and all of a sudden stepping in for Gallagher now. So it's you know, that's different. I mean, that is different from how Levy used to do things. You know, so.
For me, it was definitely selling Johnson that quick, because if Levy had been in charge, would have been paying his contract up or he'd have gone on a free potentially. So, but can I just say something on the protest? I think a lot of it as well is due to our home form, not from just this season, from the season before as well. I think if we were winning more regular, if it was reversed this season and we were winning more at home and not as much away, I don't think it would be as bad. But when we're paying that amount of money, which we do, like you said earlier, Adrian, paying a lot of money to watch that team, and then when we're at home, they're just not performing, we're losing games regularly, and I think that's where a lot of the anger stems from, to be honest.
I think with numbers, demographics plays a big part. It's not like back in the day when I watched the double side play, like when all your fans come from your local area, Tottenham and all that. They're travelling in from miles. They're spending a fortune on the game. So when they get to the game, they're even having something to eat. They're coming with friends. They're not going to go to the protest when the game's over. They're leaving. They want to go. They're going home. And we do have a very wide. Our appeal is far and wide, Spurs fan base as well. And even going back 30 years, right, there was only about 3% of people in Tottenham had season tickets. They actually were in Haringey. And now it's a poorer borough, as is Edmonton, where I live, and I only live a mile and a half from the ground. And I could get tickets for like mates when it was League Cup games at 25 quid a few seasons ago, because they just couldn't afford to pay, 50, 60, 70 quid for a ticket for a game. So I think we've got a lot of support as shown in the parade, right? But as you say, these are people that watch on Sky and things like that because it's cheaper for them.
Yeah.
But I just think, I don't want to. I hope the protest is a good protest. That was a peaceful, good protest. I should imagine it will be. I don't see no reason why it shouldn't be. And maybe I've jumped the gun a bit. Maybe Billy's got one planned for a month's time after a transfer window or whatever. As Kev's alluded to about these results. So, look, I'm not.
There is a little another problem with having one whilst we're playing West Ham. Because the fans don't get on together, do they? Particularly well between Spurs and West Ham, and there's always this chance of the West Ham fans. They know all about it now, of getting involved, shall we say? So I think the police presence might be very, very heavy, as they're doing the protest, because although they try and most of the West Ham fans will be coming from Stratford to Northumberland Park and going up that way, They know the area around here, West Ham. So I'll be a bit worried. There might be a bit of trouble, with a big gathering of Spurs fans going on as well. But I used to my sister-in-law's brother used to be a West Ham fan, or he still is a West Ham fan. But he used to phone me up before games and say, "Don't go there because that's where the trouble's going to be." Sort of thing. I know that was back in the 70s and 80s, but. It's still.
Well, I'm only going to bring one banner. We're not going to preview West Ham. I'll do that on Friday's show. And we've been here long enough, and I know that these guys have got to get off below us. So, but what I'm going to do is look. There's 589 of you watching us on various platforms, which is absolutely fantastic. Like I say, if you like our content, we pride ourselves in being fact-based on Spurs diehards. Please hit that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner, the red button. And give the video a thumbs up because it helps the algorithm. Also, we're very friends with Project Spurs, and get over to Project Spurs and get over to Harry Scarfy. We're sort of aligned with those channels as well. We're separate channels, but we have close relations with those channels as well. So get over to those. We support each other in this community. Like I said, Spurs Diehards do have a big Facebook group, and you can find us on XCOM. If you want to be a guest on the channel, you're more than welcome. But you need to private messages through XCOM or private messages through Facebook so we can get your number and add you to our Facebook group, which is a very sensible Facebook group as it happens, as these guys will attest to below, because if it gets toxic, we will kick you. As simple as that. We won't have none of that. We're not going to ruin a group, not having any other groups ruined. So we're going to finish with this just the fixtures coming up. And then, Si, are you confident going to these last 4 games in January?
I am confident for the Premier League games. West Ham, I think, I'm thinking 2-0 to us. That's my prediction for that game.
Mhm.
Burnley away, we are a lot better away at the moment, so I think we'll take the 3 points there. Burnley are not, they're struggling quite a bit at the moment, so they're in the bottom three, aren't they? So I think we'll take the points there. The Champions League games worry me maybe more that. Phil will be able to tell us a lot more about the Frankfurt
Yeah, I'm going to ask him
game.
about them.
But the Dortmund home game worries me, to be honest. I can't call that one. I think if we need, what do we reckon? A draw and a win, and then we're guaranteed in the top part of the league. I would have thought.
If we win both, we get top 8. But I mean, obviously, one win probably gets us through to the playoffs anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, if we can avoid the playoffs, it'd be great. But I mean, it's not going to be tightly congested, our fixture list now, because we're out of both cups as well. So, but yeah, it's all to play for in the Champions League, and I just hope they're really at it, and we can at least get into the knockout stages.
Phil, your take on the fixtures, more specifically on the German games, as you're out there in Frankfurt. How are those teams playing, Dortmund and Frankfurt?
Frankfurt are not really having the most amazing season overall. And in fact, they played, as I said at the beginning, they played Stuttgart away this evening, and they lost 3-2 in the end.
Have they replaced Tiki or Marmoush at all? No.
Not properly. No, not with bona fide, good quality signings, I'd say. They actually just bought this winger or forward from Forest, Kalimwendo, who Forest bought, I think, in the summer for like 32 million. They've loaned him now out to the end of the season. He actually looks quite good. But look, Frankfurt they had such a good season last year, right, where they obviously finished in the Champions League places. They were playing really, really good football, expansive football, solid defensively. And this season, it's kind of all gone a bit wrong. And defensively, they're very weak, actually. They don't look good defensively at all. And I would say that the away game, so for Spurs here in Frankfurt, is going to be the easier game out of the two for sure. I mean, we won last time we played here in Frankfurt, of course, last year.
We've beaten them 3 times in Europe. They've never beaten us.
Yeah, exactly.
Each time away, I think, actually.
We last time when we played here, back in, when was it, March or something? That was one of the first games where we kind of actually played quite defensively. And their keeper got a red card, or he gave away a penalty, I think it was, right? Didn't he? When he punched Madders.
Yes.
But like, I would predict that we'll win that game in Frankfurt, in all honesty, because at least, assuming Frank's still in charge, he'll set us up like he has. He'll set us up like he has, right, away from home. Gallagher can't play, can he? But he'll play Palhinha and Gray probably then in that game, and he'll keep it relatively mid-blocky, I reckon. But Frankfurt don't have that many weapons.
Well, they've only got three fit midfielders, unless you include Basuma coming back from AFCON.
Yeah,
have Frankfurt got any chance?
I'm not sure he's in the squad, Basuma. I don't know if he's in it.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. So it's those 3. It's just those 3. Basuma, Graham. Is Moani? Moani's in the squad. Yeah, of course he is.
Moani's in the squad. Tell got brought in, didn't he, luckily?
Yeah.
Were you saying so?
Have Frankfurt got a chance of getting into the Champions League knockouts or anything like that if they win their last 2 games?
If they win the last 2, then I think they'll probably qualify if they win the last 2. But it's tight because they've had some bad results. They got thrashed. Was it 5-0 or 6 or something in Barcelona? They got thrashed by Galatasaray or whatever the Turkish team is in there. They're really having a weird season. I don't think we should be scared of them at all in that game away. I think if we play clever and we, just keep it solid, then I think that we'll win that game. But the Dortmund game, I mean, Dortmund are good, right? Dortmund are up. If it wasn't for Bayern just being almost unbeatable this season, Dortmund would be kind of having a chance of the title, to be honest, at the moment. The new manager there, Niko Kovac, he's come in there last season. He's got them a bit more solid, playing kind of theoretically a bit more pragmatic, like Frank would do, but they actually play the ball forwards through the centre. So they're actually been quite enjoyable to watch. And I am really worried about that game because I think that they will play a bit like Villa kind of would play, or how they played last weekend. I mean, if I'm being, I don't want to be negative. I really don't want to be negative, but I can see us losing that game at home to Dortmund. To be honest, Adeyemi's
beat them 3-0 before at Wembley, and 1-0 away.
Yeah, we did, and I was at that away game. I remember actually. I think
is that when Vertonghen was left back?
Yeah. That was the Wembley one, wasn't it? When he crossed.
Apart from Kane's goal, what made me laugh was after Kane had scored and they started leaving, and the Spurs fans were singing Auf Wiedersehen, and even some of the German fans were laughing. But it was so funny. It was so funny. Auf Wiedersehen, they were waving their hands and going Auf Wiedersehen. It was funny,
If we beat Frankfurt away, but draw at home to Dortmund, does that get us through?
Oh yeah, that we'd be in the playoffs.
I think a draw will get us in the playoffs actually against one of these.
I mean, 2 wins. I mean, looking at the table, us and Dortmund have got exactly the same records. They've got a better goal difference than we have. Frankfurt are down in 30th place. So if we beat them, that's probably them out of it.
Yeah.
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, I think the trouble with the Dortmund game is we're not selling tickets. They keep advertising. If you're a member, you can buy up to 4 tickets through your CRN number at the moment. So, Dortmund are going to completely obliterate us in terms of atmosphere from their away fans.
I don't know, sometimes I've been at Spurs at midweek in Europe when they've been a big crowd and they've managed to lift the roof off. Funny enough, that stadium.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, I think that the Dortmund fans are notoriously loud, aren't they? When they were over here before, and they'll be in there early and all the rest of it, and that sort of thing. So I'm a bit that worries me a bit. I mean, I just hope Dr. Tottenham doesn't turn up against West Ham, because I don't think Nuno's kept a clean sheet since he's been at West Ham. So let's hope that carries on.
Well,
but I think we beat West Ham.
Yeah, a little fact is the fact that the 3 teams in the Premier League that we have the most success against, I think first is Everton, second is Man City, and third is West Ham. So I'm expecting us to win that game.
The trouble is with that stat, though, Adrian, that relies on teams having been in the Premier League for a long time, which obviously Everton have, City have, and so all the other teams below the big 6, the ones that haven't been relegated, that stat sort of, I think it's a dodgy stat to churn out. But there we go. I mean, I'll be confident of beating Burnley away as well. It's a shame. I was thinking of going to Frankfurt because it's my birthday, but I didn't. And stadium tickets are only 13 quid as well.
Yeah.
Mine on the 21st. If you want to save up for a present, right? So
I'll buy you a beer.
We are done.
Where
Where can we find you, Si? Have you got a show or anything, or
or
XCOM, or where are you?
On X at Brummy.
Yeah, I'm following your XCOM. Yeah.
Love talking Tottenham. Also, I'm on Project Spurs quite a bit. Had issues earlier today, but I am on there. And sometimes on Scarface Spurs Talk as well. Like you said, Adrian, we're sort of like a big family, the 3 of us, aren't we? So, yeah, I'm regularly on all them. And, thank you for having me on here, Adrian.
Once you're in their classes, there's no escape, There's no escape.
I said I'd only be on for an hour, but I've got 4 hours.
You enjoyed it, that's why.
Before I get up for work. So.
We always try and make it interesting here, right? Phil, where can we find you? I know you're everywhere. You're a big player in the Spurs community.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have my own show or anything yet, but I keep threatening to start one as well at some point. So let's see. But at the moment, I'm just really on X at Frankfurt Spurs. Obviously, similar to Sai, I mean, I'm often on Scarfy's podcast, obviously Scarfy Spurs Talk. Gary Ward's Project Spurs as well, regular on there as well now. So yeah, it's nice to have this little family as well, right? We've got really good community across. The Diehards community is great as well. So thank you for having me on again as well, Adrian, and thanks to Ian.
Back, don't worry.
And yeah, like I generally tweet about Spurs and sometimes about Eintracht Frankfurt and Bundesliga, etc. as well. I'll probably be starting some kind of Bundesliga content, I think, based around talents and younger talents in the Bundesliga as well, and the fan culture in Germany as well, which is a bit different to to the UK generally as well. So yeah, watch this space. But yeah, and also last point, if anyone's traveling out to Frankfurt in a couple of weeks and you need any tips or advice on places to go in Frankfurt, stay, drink, whatever, food, schnitzels, roast pork, whatever, then just hit me up and I'll gladly help.
And Kev, where can we find you apart from on our show and with a pint glass in your hand?
Nowhere really. I mean, this is the only show I guest on at the moment. But yeah, I'm in the social media bits and I'm on X, but I don't post a lot really.
And in a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, so I'll hang around a little bit. I'll chip in every now and again.
Yeah. Right, I want to thank our guests, 3 excellent guests. We will get them back. It's a shame to end a show when there's like 730 people viewing it on various platforms, which is fantastic on a Tuesday. Yeah, well, I mean, like our next show goes out Friday at 10, and then EMF will be doing his show on Sunday at 8 o'clock. So there are various times. The Friday show's a bit later for the American coast because they're 5 hours behind on the East Coast. So obviously that might be too late for you. And anyway, most of you should be going out and getting drunk and talking bollocks on a Friday night anyway, right? Because that's what they do traditionally in England.
I'm too old for that.
You don't go clubbing no more, Kev? No? Okay.
That's strangely enough, no.
I want to thank everyone in the chat for their comments. There was so many of you, we couldn't bring the chats up. That was remiss of me. I should have brought some of you up with the more pertinent points, I mean, there's lots of comments in there, like I said, big up to everyone on various platforms. You can find us on Facebook. You can find Spurs Dialogues on XCOM. We do have a WhatsApp group and that. Big up to everyone who bothers to watch the videos on playback. And just one small request, guys, 729, if you are watching on YouTube or not, get over to our YouTube page. Please hit that subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, and that helps the algorithm a lot. With that, I'm going to play you out the bit of music I wrote, not Ian's. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
We are Tottenham till we die.